Manchester City reportedly interested in signing Southampton's Danny Ings this summer as a successor to Sergio Aguero. Let's get more on that right now. Our talkSPORT colleague Alex Crook joins us live. Alex, any truth in this? Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, guys. I think there is some truth that Manchester City would be interested in Danny Ings. I think they have a very extensive list of targets this summer. I think it's going to be a big summer for Pep Guardiola, especially when it comes to looking for a successor for Sergio Aguero. We should say at this stage it isn't guaranteed that Sergio Aguero won't be offered a new contract at the Etihad. I think they're still hoping that he can prove his fitness between now and the end of the season. But even if he does sign a new contract, and he has lots of options on the table at the moment, clearly they need to strengthen their attack. I think you could almost put Manchester City's recruitment into two camps. They've got a list of headliners, if you like. Erling Haaland would certainly be on that list, although my understanding is that Manchester City reluctant to get into any kind of bidding war with Chelsea and with Manchester United for him. We know both clubs very interested in Haaland. I think most clubs in Europe are interested in Haaland. They've been linked with Romelu Lukaku as well, and I think there's some smoke to that fire. I think Danny Ings would almost be on the secondary list of backup options. That's not to say they wouldn't be interested in bringing him to the Etihad, but I don't think he would necessarily be a direct replacement for Sergio Aguero, more somebody just to come in and bolster their striking options as they try and compete on multiple fronts. And I think as far as Danny Ings is concerned, if Manchester City were to back up that interest with a bid, I think he would be very interested, as most players would be, in making the move and linking up with Pep Guardiola.
I'm sure he would, but to me, Simon, it maybe smacks of more another example of contract talks being played out in a public forum.
Well, Alex was the first one across this a while ago about Danny Ings' contract, weren't you, Alex, talking about the fact that Southampton were prepared to pay him more money than they've ever paid before, and the expectation, I think, back in December was that he was going to sign a new agreement then, because there were certain things he was waiting to hear, but the expectation was that they was going to sign a contract. Now, that's gone on and on, hasn't it? How long has he got left on his contract, Alex?
So his contract expires at the end of next season, so it's not quite as urgent as far as Southampton are concerned as, say, Ryan Bertrand, whose contract is coming to an end this summer. They've been in negotiations for a while as well. And from what I'm told, Southampton's still relatively relaxed about the Danny Ings situation. They believe they've made him a very good offer. The offer to become the highest paid player on their books. Ralph Hasenhüttl has said it much in numerous press conferences. So the ball really is in Danny Ings' court. I think as far as Ings is concerned, he's just keeping his options open to see if one of these clubs, like Manchester City, maybe Manchester United as well, which is another destination he'd be interested in, if they do come in and make him an offer and give him the chance to play Champions League football, clearly that is something that will be attractive to him. But I don't think it's guaranteed.
Two questions on
this,
Alex. If it were to manifest itself that one of the elite clubs wants to buy Danny Ings, given there's a year left, what do you think the transfer fee would be for Southampton to make a compelling decision? And what do you think that would add or detract from Ralph Hasenhüttl's attitude towards Southampton?
I think it would be a big problem for Southampton if they lost Danny Ings. I mean, I have to say he's not had his best season in terms of goals. Only 8 Premier League goals this campaign. He's had numerous injuries. He's sidelined at the moment, missed the FA Cup quarter-final at the weekend. In terms of a transfer fee, it's an interesting one because you have to take those injuries into account. You have to take into account his contract is running down. I still think Southampton would want at least 25 million, if not 30 million. Yeah, are Manchester City going to pay that? That's the big question. And the big stumbling block in terms of contract negotiations, as far as I'm told, is this release clause. Southampton want to set it at 40 million. Ings and his advisors want to set it at £20 million. So I think if you think maybe they'll end up meeting somewhere in the middle, that's the type of fee that it would take to prize Danny Ings away from Southampton. And Liverpool also have a 20% sell-on clause, which would need to be taken into account as well from when he joined the club originally.
Yeah.
And 24 million quid doesn't do a lot for Southampton, does it, in terms of, I know they've got a massive loss this year of 60, 70 million quid on the books, but 24 million quid doesn't enable them to buy a like for like, does it?
Well, there's not too many Danny Ings around, is there? And I mean, his goals have been so pivotal for them. Probably his lack of goals this season has been a big factor in the fact they've plummeted down the league since January. He's a local boy, used to idolise Matt Le Tissier. He was bombed out by Southampton as a youngster. He's very much at home there now that he's come back. But when Manchester City and Pep Guardiola start being mentioned with you, you have to sit up and take notice. But at this stage, I would probably say it's still 60-40 that Danny Ings stays at Southampton.